Namo Buddhaya, Namo Amitabha. Hello everyone. So today I feel like talking about what is a Pratyekabuddha. So Pratyekabuddha literally means alone Buddha or solitary Buddha. Although it has the word Buddha in it, it is still actually very far away from the perfect Buddhahood. So Pratyekabuddha refers to a vehicle of enlightenment at which the person obtains enlightenment through his own observation of the 12 links of dependent origination. So the 12 links of dependent origination talks about how from ignorance the samsaric existence arises. Some people may be wondering, why are we in the samsara? What causes the samsaric experience? If you want to find out more, then you can go and check out the 12 links of dependent origination, which we'll also talk about it in the near future. So, a Pratyekabuddha, through his own observation of the 12 links of dependent origination, he realized enlightenment and exited the cycle of samsara. So he did not need the guidance or the teachings from the Buddha, from a teacher. Rather, through his own observation, he can obtain enlightenment by himself. This is also because of his good roots, good karma and blessings from his past life. So in this lifetime, it got matured, and on his own, he could realize enlightenment. Of course, these beings are also rare. Pratyekabuddha's level of enlightenment is higher than Arahant. We talked about what is an Arahant before, how through listening to the teachings of the Buddha, such as the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path, they realize enlightenment at the stage of Arahant. Whereas for the Pratyekabuddha, through their own observation of the 12 links of dependent origination, they realize enlightenment. So the level of enlightenment of a Pratyekabuddha is higher than an Arahant. However, even the level of a Pratyekabuddha is still equivalent to just a very basic level of enlightenment in Mahayana Buddhism. It's about the 8th stage of faith on the Bodhisattva path. So we talk about how there are a total of 51 stages for the Bodhisattvas, with the 52nd being the final Buddhahood. So Pratyekabuddha is still just a basic level of enlightenment in Mahayana Buddhism. And as Mahayanists, we don't encourage people to pursue the path of a Pratyekabuddha, because once the Pratyekabuddha realized enlightenment, like the Arahants, they will dwell in that state for a very long time, and they will not preach the Dharma to others. They cannot bring others into enlightenment. They cannot help others out of suffering. Like the Arahants, they also do not generate bodhicitta, instead just dwelling in their state of bliss. So these two vehicles, the vehicles of Arahant and the vehicle of Pratyekabuddhas, are not encouraged for Mahayanists. For Mahayanists, the most important thing is to really generate a bodhicitta, aspire for the perfect enlightenment, the perfect Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. One should not dwell in a state of nirvana bliss and not teach the Dharma to others. Or otherwise, what's the use of the enlightenment if it cannot help others? But fortunately, like the Arahants and the Pratyekabuddhas, once they dwell in that state for a tremendously long time, they will also be Bodhisattvas and Buddhas to tell them, to encourage them, do not just dwell in this state. This is not the end yet. You need to generate the bodhicitta and take up the Bodhisattva path. From the Lotus Sutra, we'll know that the vehicle of Shavaka and Pratyekabuddha are simply expedient means, skillful means taught by the Buddha for rest and recuperation. They're not the end yet, very, very far away from it. And you may be like, why the Buddha talk about this as skillful means? Because different sentient beings have different preferences. Some people, they just like to obtain enlightenment first. They don't want to help anybody. They just want to liberate themselves out of suffering. So the Buddha talk about the vehicle of Arahants and Pratyekabuddha, but eventually all of them will all have to generate the unsurpassed bodhicitta and take up the bodhisattva path, so they can all realize the perfect Buddhahood and to help save all sentient beings. And that is the angle of Buddhism, to help benefit all sentient beings. Even nirvana is not the goal. Self-salvation in Buddhism is not the goal. I remember after the Buddha realized perfect enlightenment, he taught the Dharma tirelessly until he entered paradivana. And the Buddha actually is still in the world and other worlds to teach the Dharma too. This is talked about in the Lotus Sutra, which we'll also discuss more in the future. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Amitabha.